Big news has now arrived on Gunners. You want to know all the details, so follow me until the end of the video. But first, if you are in love with Arsenal, show your love and subscribe to THE channel now and turn on notifications. Here we post daily news and behind the scenes of the biggest club in THE Premier League, Arsenal. Thank you. Mikel Arteta has to prove Kylian Mbappé right, as Arsenal's reality comes into focus. This season could be defining for Mikel Arteta. With Arsenal competing on 4 major fronts, there's no more room for moral victories. The time has come for tangible success. One trophy, at the very least, is not just the expectation. It's the demand. When Arteta took over from Unai Emery back in December 2019, Arsenal were a club in freefall, 10th in the league, miles away from a Champions League spot, let alone a title challenge. But the young Spaniard, fresh from Pep Guardiola's staff at Manchester City, walked in with a quiet confidence and a bold vision. Arsenal is one of the biggest clubs in the world, he declared at his unveiling. We have to be competing for the biggest trophies in football. That was made clear to me by Stan and Josh Kroenke, and by the senior leadership at the club. He knew it would take time. But what followed was a full-scale rebuild. A club that had been treading water was suddenly moving with purpose again. A new era built brick by brick. Arteta wasted no time. Players came and went, culture shifted, and standards were reset. In his first season, he delivered the FA Cup, a glimmer of what was to come. Community Shield victories followed in 2020 and again in 2023, but the major titles, the ones that define legacies, have remained just out of reach. 3 consecutive seasons finishing second in the Premier League have shown real progress. But they've also raised the stakes. Arsenal are no longer the plucky underdogs. They are expected to win. And that pressure is very real. Last season, the Gunners reached the Champions League quarter-finals in 2023-24 and pushed to the semi-finals the following year, yet at no point did they truly feel like favourites. Arteta knows that has to change in 2025-26. Backed in the market. Backed by Mbappé. This summer, Arsenal doubled down. With Andrea Berta brought in as sporting director, over £260 million were spent to strengthen the squad. Names like Kepa Arrizabalaga, Martin Zubimendi, Victor Gyökeres, Eberechi Eze, Piero Hincapié, and Noni Madueke now bolster a side that already had title credentials. And intriguingly, someone outside the club has already shown belief in this project, none other than Kylian Mbappé. When asked for his Premier League predictions, the Real Madrid star said, "Liverpool, of course, have to be mentioned first. They're always chasing titles. But I also have high hopes for Arsenal. The team has grown together over time, and that chemistry matters. Manchester City are always a force, with Pep and Holland, but maybe this is Arsenal's year." Pressed further to name his outright winner, Mbappé smiled and said, "Maybe Arsenal. Maybe this is their time. It's easy to say City or Liverpool, but sometimes the game surprises you." Arteta's time is now. By the time the season concludes in May, Mikel Arteta will have been at Arsenal for well over 6 years. Few managers are given that kind of time, and even fewer are allowed to keep building without delivering silverware. The club has backed him with players, staff, and structure. Now, it's about results. The fans? They've waited. They've supported. But they're no longer satisfied with finishing second, not with this much talent on the pitch. With stars across the pitch and depth in every department, Arsenal have everything they need to win, not just compete. And Arteta knows it. The verdict. This season, Arsenal must win a trophy. Arteta knows it. The board expects it. And the supporters demand it. Kylian Mbappé has put his faith in this Arsenal team. Now it's up to Arteta to prove him right, and to finally bring home the success this project has been building toward for years. Because this can't be another almost season. This has to be the season Arsenal arrive. The stakes have never been higher. As Arsenal step into what could be a defining season, the pressure is undeniable. After years of rebuilding, moments of promise, and painful near misses, the expectation is now crystal clear: it's time to win. Mikel Arteta enters his 6th full season at the helm not just as a respected manager, but as the figurehead of a project that has reached its moment of truth. Backed in the transfer market, supported by the board, and publicly praised by one of football's biggest stars, Kylian Mbappé, Arteta no longer has the luxury of time or patience. Arsenal must deliver. A squad built for glory. This summer, Arsenal didn't just reinforce their squad, they reshaped it. The arrival of players like Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Madueke, Hincapie, and ease has added quality, depth, and a level of flexibility that Arteta's previous teams lacked. It's a squad designed to compete across all competitions, not just survive them. And while the core remains, players who have grown together over the last few seasons, there's now a hunger that runs deeper. These aren't prospects anymore. They're players who believe they're good enough to win everything, and expect to. Mbappé's words, Arsenal's challenge. When Kylian Mbappé mentioned Arsenal as a potential Premier League winner this season, it wasn't just a flattering comment, it was a challenge. It was recognition that the project is mature enough, the football is convincing enough, and the squad is talented enough to finally take that next step. But praise like that comes with pressure. Arsenal are no longer outsiders. They're being watched and judged as true contenders. Doubts still linger. Despite the optimism, not everyone is convinced. Critics have pointed to recent performances where the team struggled to impose its attacking identity, especially in big games. Concerns over lack of creativity and a more cautious approach have sparked debate. Some question whether the team, despite its improvements, still lacks the cutting edge required to beat the very best. Injuries haven't helped. Key players like William Saliba, Bukayo Saka, and Kai Havertz have all been sidelined recently, forcing tactical changes and reliance on less experienced squad members. These moments test more than depth, they test belief. A moment of truth for Arteta. Arteta has guided Arsenal through an extraordinary transformation. He changed the culture, raised the standards, and re-established Arsenal as a serious force in English football. But now comes the hardest part, turning potential into silverware. By the end of this season, Arteta will be one of the longest-serving managers in the Premier League. That kind of longevity is rare, and it comes with the burden of proof. Supporters still back him, but they're no longer satisfied with second place. They want trophies. They want moments. They want history. What comes next? The coming months will define Arsenal's season, and perhaps Arteta's legacy. The team must navigate league fixtures, domestic cups, and European competition, all while dealing with mounting pressure and high expectations. But this is what the project was built for. The squad is ready. The belief is there. The fans are hungry. It's no longer about showing progress. It's about proving, once and for all, that Arsenal are back, not just as hopeful challengers, but as winners. And if they succeed, Mbappé's bold prediction won't seem bold at all, just prophetic. William Saliba, a growing concern. Just 5 minutes into the match against Liverpool on August 31st, Saliba was forced off, replaced by Christian Mosquera. It was clear he wasn't comfortable, and after the match, Arteta confirmed it was an ankle issue. Saliba has since withdrawn from international duty with France, diagnosed with a sprain in his left ankle. Early reports suggest he could be sidelined for 3 to 4 weeks. Arteta said, "He twisted his ankle during the warm-up but thought he could push through. You could tell from his first couple of movements that something wasn't right. Unfortunately, we had to take him off." Thankfully, Mosquera stepped in for his Premier League debut at Anfield and did really well under pressure. Potential return, October. Bukayo Saka, light at the end of the tunnel. Saka's injury against Leeds on August 23rd raised concerns after he limped off in the 54th minute with discomfort in his left hamstring. Having missed significant time last season due to surgery on his right hamstring, fans feared the worst. Thankfully, the injury isn't as serious, and the hope is that the international break has given him time to recover. Arteta said, "He'll be out for a few weeks." Thankfully, no surgery this time. It's not as bad as the previous one, but it's still a setback. It happened during an intense action, he had to accelerate, change direction, and something just didn't feel right. Possible return, Manchester City, Sunday, September 21st. Kai Havertz, a tough blow. Havertz's absence against Leeds was explained shortly after, a knee injury requiring minor surgery, which was successfully completed on August 28th. While the procedure went well, his return remains uncertain. Arteta shared, "He's never really had a serious injury before, so it hit him hard. But sometimes in football, these things happen suddenly. It's frustrating to lose a key player, especially when he was just getting back into rhythm. The surgery was necessary, and now we focus on his recovery." Potential return, unknown. Christian Nørgaard, could be back soon. Nørgaard missed Arsenal's opening 3 matches with a minor issue, and though he didn't feature against Liverpool, there's optimism around his availability for the weekend. Arteta said. "He's one of the players we're still monitoring closely. Tomorrow's session will be key. If things go well, there's a real chance he could be involved." Possible return, Nottingham Forest, Saturday, September 13th. Ben White, close to a return. Ben White started the season opener against Manchester United, but was subbed off in the second half. While he didn't seem in serious pain at the time, he hasn't featured since and was absent from the squad against both Leeds and Liverpool. Arteta commented similarly. "We're taking it day by day. There's still a chance he'll be ready for the weekend, but we won't take risks." Possible return, Nottingham Forest, Saturday, September 13th. Gabriel Jesus, a long road, but getting closer. Gabriel Jesus has been recovering from the ACL injury he suffered in last season's FA Cup clash with Manchester United. His absence has been deeply felt, but his regular updates on social media, running, training with the ball, have been encouraging. In a recent message, he reflected, "It's been 7 months of pain, doubt, and anxiety. But now I feel light again, like a kid playing football. God is great." Potential return, December. Final thoughts. As Arsenal prepare to return to Premier League action, the injury list still casts a shadow, but there is hope. The squad has shown depth, young players have stepped up, and some of the club's biggest stars are on the verge of returning. With a packed schedule ahead and expectations at an all-time high, having key names like Saliba, Soccer, and Jesus back could make all the difference. Arsenal's title hopes may well depend on how quickly they can return, not just to the pitch, but to their best. As Arsenal look ahead to their crucial weekend clash against Nottingham Forest, the injury concerns underline a broader challenge for Mikel Arteta's squad this season. The fitness and availability of key players like Saliba and Soccer could significantly impact the team's rhythm and tactical flexibility, factors that have been vital in their recent surge as title contenders. The absence of William Saliba, in particular, puts pressure on Arsenal's defensive stability. His leadership and composure at the back have been crucial in matches where the Gunners have held strong against top opposition. Losing him for up to a month means Arteta will need to rely on less experienced defenders or reshuffle his defensive lineup, potentially affecting the team's cohesion. On the other hand, the hopeful return of Bukayo Saka offers a much-needed boost to Arsenal's creative and attacking dynamics. Saka's pace, vision, and goal threat have been central to Arsenal's attacking style, and his return, even if gradual, could reignite their offensive power, especially with challenging fixtures looming, including a trip to Manchester City later this month. Meanwhile, the prolonged absence of Kai Havertz is a significant setback. The German international's versatility and technical skill were expected to add another dimension to Arteta's midfield and forward line. Without him, the burden falls even more on the shoulders of players like Martin Degaard and Emile Smith-Rowe to orchestrate play and unlock stubborn defenses. Christian Nurgad's potential return could bring some relief in midfield depth, especially as the Premier League season intensifies. His physical presence and tactical intelligence offer a balance that Arteta values when facing physically demanding opponents. Ben White's situation adds another layer of complexity. His return would strengthen the backline, giving Arteta more options and the chance to rotate without sacrificing defensive solidity. However, rushing him back prematurely could risk aggravating his condition, something the manager will surely want to avoid given the long campaign ahead. Perhaps most inspiring is Gabriel Jesus's ongoing rehabilitation. His visible progress has lifted spirits among the squad and supporters alike. His tenacity and goal-scoring instincts will be invaluable once he's back, providing Arsenal with much-needed firepower as they aim to challenge on multiple fronts. The repercussions of these injuries go beyond the pitch. Arsenal's push for silverware this season depends heavily on squad depth and player availability. Each injury not only tests Arteta's tactical adaptability, but also challenges the mental resilience of the squad. Fans and pundits alike are watching closely, aware that a sustained injury crisis could derail the momentum Arsenal have built over recent years. In response, the club's medical and coaching staff face immense pressure to manage recoveries carefully, balancing the urgency to have players back with the need to prevent relapses. Meanwhile, young talents like Mosquera are being thrust into the spotlight earlier than anticipated, providing them with a chance to prove themselves but also highlighting the thin margins at a club with championship ambitions. As the season unfolds, the hope is that Arsenal can navigate these injury hurdles without losing ground. The upcoming fixture list is unforgiving, and the Gunners will need their full complement of talent to compete with the likes of Manchester City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. Ultimately, how Arsenal handle this period of adversity could define their campaign. It's a test not just of physical fitness but of character, leadership, and squad unity. For Mikel Arteta and his team, the coming weeks will be as much about resilience as skill, because in football, the strongest teams are often the ones who rise above challenges together.